I was listening to the story about, it was a story of a family in Washington, and the little boy called the Bigfoot the Cowboy Man. And he had, apparently it had made an effort to steal this kid. And it hit me. My children were in that playpen behind me with nothing but a mosquito net over them. It could have crept up behind me and taken both of my children, and I wouldn't have known.
Father just got like a Mustang or something from Wyoming, okay? He had it out in the corral because he couldn't put it in the barn in the stalls with the other horses. It would kick and made all the other horses nervous. Had a Seminole Indian working the horse, trying to break it every day. So they had it out in the corral. This skunk ape snuck up behind this horse and grabbed it on its hind quarters. This particular horse kicks out, jumps over the corral, runs into the pasture, to get away. At this point, the rancher's out there just blasted away with the dirty. Skunk ape runs into the swamp.
I went up there one day after that, or 2 days after that. I went up there and sat in the silence up there, and I'm telling you, man, it was free. It was crazy. There was a crazy vibe up there still. I did what I could to kind of get things under control, but I told her, I said, you need to get off this property. I feel like no matter how strong you are, it's almost like standing in the ocean. You can't stand still without moving your feet. You're going to get knocked over eventually, no matter how strong, whatever. You can't withstand a barrage of weird spiritual energy.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Paranormal Odyssey. I'm your host, Wayne, joined as always by my partner. What was that?
Oh,
hello?
Sorry. That would be the unprofessional me. That was a big ass truck that went up by my house.
Tell them trucks to stop. We're doing a live show.
Oh, dang. Sorry, my bad. Try again.
Did you not put the sign out?
I didn't.
Filming? Shut the hell up.
Didn't.
All right, guys. I'm so sorry for that unprofessional interruption. As I was saying, I'm your illustrious and fabulous host, Wayne, joined by my unprofessional, irresponsible producer and co-host, Miss Tiffany. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing good. You schmoozing it up.
Then she just snorted. She snorted on top of that.
You know what? If I didn't laugh and snort, it just wouldn't be the same show.
God. Y'all see what I put up with? I was going to say live with, but thankfully it's only a few hours a week.
You know what?
I shouldn't say thankfully.
I'm doing okay, though, for real.
Oh, yeah. How is Carrie? How's she feeling?
She's doing okay. She went back to school today. Her MRI we have scheduled for the 24th, and then we go back the 26th for her follow-up with radiology. Or not radiology, neurology.
Okay. So I totally just missed that.
You did.
You had the MRI done, or she is set up to have it done?
She's set up to have it done on the 24th.
What did her primary care say?
Well, I didn't get her in. He didn't have any appointments available. So neurology actually called me that same day or the day after, and they had everything all lined up. So I just had to call and make the physical appointment. So, but she's downstairs yelling at the TV because she's watching wrestling. So if you hear her, she's just the mini unprofessional me.
Yeah, I wasn't real impressed with that ER doctor.
Yeah.
Handled with all that.
Yeah, he and had my husband found him, he and Zach would have had words and it wouldn't have ended well. And it was probably a good thing that God's just like, no, we're not doing that today. Just go back to work. Yeah. So, yeah, we have everything set up. And, I'm an overthinker 100% of the time. So that's what I'm doing currently. But she's had it since birth. We didn't even know she had it. She's not had any deficits from it, but she is not cleared to do sports. So if she wants to do WWE wrestling like she's wanted to do since she was 5, this has to be addressed. So,
yeah. Well, speaking of sports, Miss Scarlett James has her first ever soccer game in the morning.
Oh.
So that's going to be cuter than just anything. Scarlett and Cece, my granddaughter, they're both 3 years old. They are playing on the same team.
Awesome.
I'm an assistant coach on the team. I know 0 to no percentage of soccer. I know nothing about it other than it's a round ball that you're not allowed to touch with your hands unless you're the goalie. That's it. You kick it. That's it. But having 2 kids on the team, granddaughter and daughter, I wanted to at least be out there with them. So I'm an assistant coach. I've been talking to the coach a little bit tonight, and they are the Middle Valley Baby Sharks.
Oh, baby sharks. The baby sharks.
So it's the under 4. So everyone on the team is 3 years old. So it's going to be quite an adventure. Organized chaos.
That should be so much fun. All these little kids just kicking this ball, nobody knowing what the hell's going on. That's great.
Lord, please bless my nerves. It's going to be fun. Scarlett was out with her mama earlier picking out stuff. We were late, but they sent me a video of her new cleats, and she was running around in the store with them. And she got a little soccer ball, and shin guards, and socks, and all that stuff. So it'll be fun. Well,
knowing her, she probably wants to sleep in all of it.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah. But yeah, so tonight, obviously, I mean, if you guys are a little confused, it's Friday night. We normally don't do a show on Friday night, but we wanted to recap the Squatch Out that happened last week. A week ago tonight was our first night. Man, I wish I could go back. It was such a great time. I always dread them when they're coming up because it's so much work, so much goes into it. And then you get there and it flies by. You hang out with so many awesome people and the time just flies by, and I miss it once it's over. So I wish we could go back and do it again. Mike Wolf, soccer at that age is awesome. I will find out tomorrow. Walls, I invited Walls. That was him, Jasper, the friendly trucker. Invited him to come on tonight, but he is making a run, so he was unable to be there. But you are here in spirit, buddy.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just going to talk about last week. We got a couple of the people that were there backstage. Got Mr. Kevin Jones and T-Roy.
T-Roy.
Fan favorite. T-Roy, best outdoor cook in the world, in my opinion. He made his 112-gallon pot of chili. I don't know how many gallons it was, but it was a lot. God, I need to put that picture up. When we get them out and get going, I'm going to upload that picture so people can see that pot of chili.
It was a big. Now I wasn't there. I just saw it on Discord, man. It was a big pot of chili.
I've never seen a pot that big. I didn't know they made them that big.
I've seen them for like frying chicken or frying turkeys.
You ever seen the old videos of like witches?
Yes, during their cauldrons.
Yeah, that's what it. And he had a legit boat paddle.
No.
Yes, that's what you see me stirring in that picture. It's a damn boat paddle.
That is damn ingenious.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna find a spoon big enough to stir a pot of chili that big.
I know. It was so good. I think I ate 3 bowls that night. I mean, they were the small plastic bowls. And you got to fill them with Fritos and cheese and sour cream.
Of course.
So I ate 3 bowls that night, and then the next day for lunch, I went up to the store and I texted Troy. I was getting hungry. I said, "Hey man, go ahead and fire up the chili again." So we started it back up, and I had it for lunch again the next day, and we still threw half of that pot away, I think.
I know Matthew said he's upset he didn't bring some home with him.
It was so good.
I believe it.
All right, let's pay some bills real quick, and then we will get the guys out, and we will reminisce over an amazing weekend.
Deal.
Guys, if you are new to the show, we are happy to have you. Before you leave, do us a solid, hit that subscribe button. Help Miss Tiffany and myself continue to grow the show. We are definitely heading in the right direction. We just need to get there a little bit quicker. Please hit that subscribe button.
And if you would like to be on with Wayne and myself, you can reach out to both of us. Wayne at paranormalworldproductions.com or myself, Tiffany at Paranormal World Productions. And while I have this email up here, I am going to start recording, Lord willing, Spooky Sunday. I would really love to have the first episode out on the 29th to start October off the right way. If you would like to send me your paranormal spooky to be read, absolutely send it to Tiffany at paranormalworldproductions.com.
Awesome. I think it's going to be awesome. That's your baby. I'm glad you came up with it. I think it's going to be something really cool that we get to do for the entire month of October. And hopefully this is just the first one. And
Yes.
something we can do for a long time.
Absolutely.
Guys, head over to paranormalworldproductions.com. Check out our website. Check out all the other shows under the studio's umbrella. Sign up for the Bigfoot newsletter. All of that amazing stuff. Check out that Bigfoot podcast. I hear that's a pretty good show.
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, people just seem to be talking about that show like crazy.
Yeah, the guys they're a little rough around the edges and
Yeah, they're a little brash, but I mean, hey.
potty mouth.
Yeah,
And no one is safe. They tell it like they see it. Call out all of the bullshitters and the hoaxers. But somebody needs to do that.
absolutely.
We've taken emails and voicemails talking, people saying that it's about time that there is a podcast like that one out there that holds people responsible. So check out that Bigfoot podcast. You can find it at paranormalworldproductions.com.
And if you have any questions for the three gentlemen you're going to see on the screen this evening, please put them in all capital letters. We highlight them and save them for the end of the show and do a rapid fire question answer session. Sorry, I snorted so hard. I think I snorted my brain out. We'll ask them their questions at the end of the show.
Very good, very good. I just looked down and neither of our guests are there.
Well,
Their cameras are up, but there's no people in there. So they're like, screw them. They're going to take 15 minutes to talk.
we're just going to go see. Oh, I see an arm. Oh, there's one.
There's T. Roy. All right, guys, real quick. The memberships, they are still active in case you people have forgotten. I feel like y'all have forgotten all about us. It's $1.99. What the hell are y'all waiting for?
And it's so much fun.
Yeah. You get extra content. Oh, I'll get there in a minute. If you want to become a member, you get the extra content. You get extra members only live shows. Mike Wolf, best $1.99 ever. Alex Schmidt. Best $1.99 ever. Thank you, fellas, very, very much. I agree with you. But you get access to extra content. You get members only lives. You get early access to shows. You get members only Discord. And as a new perk, I set it up today. At the Squatch Out, Miss Lori Wade has been helping me get some t-shirts up and going. Some of these events that I'm going to be selling t-shirts at. And Miss Lori Wade hooked me up with her printer and got me set up and everything. I'm going to show a few of those now. We are taking pre-orders on these shirts. I didn't put a picture of the Paranormal Odyssey one up, but y'all see the logo up there in the top. That's an option. A Paranormal Odyssey shirt. You got the Foot Fetish shirt. We already have some of these printed up. You got the Jeep Bigfoot shirt. Probably my favorite.
That was a popular one.
And then the silhouette, which we sold more of those than anything over the weekend.
That one's my favorite.
That's really, really cool. They all say Manimal Gear down there because that's kind of our brand. But we are set up to take pre-orders. Anyone out there that wants one of these shirts, get a hold of me at my website. As I was saying earlier, we are set up to take credit card payments now. I've got that account set up. I can send you an invoice. They are $20 plus $5 shipping. If you are a PO freak, you get a 10% discount. On, look at that. There you go, Mr. Tiffany. Thank you, buddy. If you want one of those shirts and you are a PO freak, most of our audience right now is a PO freak.
Thank you, Doghouse. What is up?
Thank you very much. That's very cool of you. I appreciate that.
Hey, so you will have to email Wayne or me, and we can send you the link to the Discord.
Yeah, we will put our email address up here in just a minute, but contact one of us and we will get you set up to join the Discord. But again, guys, like I was saying, $25 for shipping and everything on any of these shirts. You get 10% off if you are a PO freak. So just contact me. Let me know which one you want. I will send you the invoice with your discount, and we will get it out to you. But if you're not a member, a PO freak, then there are $25. You are welcome to pick one up as well. Same thing goes. Just contact me, Wayne at Paranormal World Productions, and I'll get you that invoice out. So yeah, that's just the extra perk. Yeah. For our members. You get 10% off of any of our merchandise.
Stellar.
All right. Yeah, I was not expecting a new member. Thank you very much.
Awesome. That's
Doghouse.
Dog with a W. You got to enunciate the W.
It just, that kind of makes me wonder. Doghouse, answer me real quick. Is that because you're a Georgia fan? I hope not. Because I am a Vol.
Well, you know what? I don't get football, so.
Yeah. Real quick before we get to the guys, Cryptid Huntress is hanging out with us. Core shirts. Hey, y'all. I will be live with the Cryptid Huntress on her channel tomorrow night. As soon as she gets me a link, I will share that with everyone. But I hope everyone can go over there and hang out and watch that episode. It's going to be really, really cool. Oh, hang on a minute.
That's Eli.
That's Eli. Troy just said that's Eli. Welcome aboard, buddy. I was bragging about your truck on that Bigfoot podcast. Eli was hanging out at the Squatch out. Had a great time meeting him.
I don't know where Kevin went. Troy's hanging out back there, but I think we have Kevin's chair.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 18 minutes. It's like, shut the hell up, y'all. All right, we're ready to bring them out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Please welcome my brother. Yeah, Eli. Awesome. All right, we're going to get Troy out.
Yeah.
And Kevin.
Kevin's chair.
Hey, Kev.
Hey, Kevin.
Oh, shut up. Please,
what the hell are you doing? It's a Bigfoot, y'all.
It's a Bigfoot fighting. Oh, man. Peeking out from behind the trees. My gosh, do you know how hard it is for a 63-year-old man to be down on his knees for 10 minutes waiting for y'all to shut up so I could get up here and do my thing?
I'm leaving it alone.
We were giving you time to get back.
I know.
We didn't. We would have been out here 10 minutes ago. We've been waiting on you.
I was moving my chair around, so you'd think there was a ghost in here or something. Freak out.
Look at that. You're awesome, buddy.
Huntress, one of my new favorite people.
Yeah, she was. How cool was she? Let's start it off right there, guys. What did y'all think about our speakers?
Yeah, they're awesome.
Both very good.
Yeah,
but all they had to say.
And all right.
They knocked it out of the park.
Okay. So we're going to need a little bit more than that. So I'll call on y'all one-on-one. I realize I put y'all on the spot. Troy, what did you think about our speakers?
I really enjoyed both of them. Both of them had interesting stories and interesting ways of doing what they did. And I'm glad to count both of them now as personal friends.
That's it. Exactly. Kevin, what'd you think, buddy?
Absolutely. Now you give me the mic because I talk a lot. I'm a little shy, but it's weird being on this side. But I'm used to being on the other side, and there are other people in here that were there who could speak just as well. But I was really lucky because my tent was pitched right in between Lori and Jessica,
That's right.
and so I got to talk with them off and on during the whole weekend and just chat and play around and do all kinds of stuff. And they're just awesome, awesome people. And Jessica, there's something about her. She's 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 special. She's got a gift. And anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. There is something about Jessica. She's the cryptid huntress. She does a little bit of everything. And I know that she was telling, I think she was telling John about the portal story. And I've got the recording of both the ladies, the entire version. I had my phone recording the entire time. I haven't had time. I've had Scarlett since I've been back. Now that I've got a weekend kind of off a little bit, I'm going to work on getting those videos edited and released. But Jessica talked about the portal incident, and I'm going to talk to her tomorrow night on her show about that because I'm really fascinated with that. She had two guys, two grown men that were members of the group that she was with. She's a member of like 4 different groups, so I don't know which one this was, but they were in this place that I really want to know more about. It's local to me and to her, but they believe they experienced a portal. I don't know if they walked through it or got close to it or whatever. But guys, they both died within 2 years of experiencing that portal. Could be a coincidence. I don't know. We need to get more information on it, but I don't know, man. That portal stuff scares me. Y'all know how much missing person stuff we've been doing lately on this channel. These people that disappear and you find nothing. You don't find their gun. They're hunters. You don't find their gun. You don't find shoes, clothes, backpacks, hats, anything. No trace of them. Is it possible they stepped into a portal?
Well,
And that,
there's two missing persons cases waiting in the wings that are just that. They're gone.
yeah, before we came on tonight, I edited the Sean. What's his last name?
Sean Higgins.
Sean Higgins. I edited that one. That one will be coming out Monday. Yeah, that's the same thing. His dad, was it Sean or the youngster?
Sean Higgins is the one who disappeared.
Yeah.
But he and his son and his brother-in-law were hunting together.
Yeah, and they have not found a single trace of Sean in all this time. How does that happen, y'all?
Listen, it's funny, Wayne, because you and I have talked many, many times in the woods, about our belief and that Squatch is nothing more than a flesh and blood creature. And the more I learn, especially with the research I'm doing right now, the more questions I have than answers.
Yeah.
And and I always come from, me, I always come from the Jesus side of it, but that doesn't mean I don't. It just means that there's a lot out there in the spiritual side of things. Whether you're a Christian or whether you're just a spiritualist type person, that is stuff we just don't understand. And what is all this that goes on? Like the time you and I were out and I saw orbs, and I never believed in orbs until I freaking saw them.
Yeah.
And then saw them a year later in the same area, but about 2 miles away. And I haven't seen them before since. And they weren't floating orbs; they were kind of flashing.
Yeah.
Because you remember the first time I thought it was just fire.
I remember that now.
Blast springs. And,
While you were talking, I was scrambling,
Yeah.
trying to remember what you're talking about. I remember that very vividly now. I do.
But we were around fires all weekend this past weekend. I didn't see
You
anything.
kept questioning. You were questioning if it was like embers that were like floating up, and it wasn't. None of us saw anything. You were the only one that saw it.
Yeah, it didn't freak me out. It's just like, okay, why are these here? And I've heard, and I'm sure there are people in the group here, and I know Jessica can for sure, who have spoken often about in certain Squatch areas or Squatchy areas. So we heard howls that night too.
Mhm.
That their orbs can be seen sometimes. So what's the connection?
Yeah, I want to talk more about that, Kevin. So we'll come back to it.
Yeah, but the Squatch out's over here. So yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but also I do want to come back to that though, Kevin, because I want a follow up question. But I want to get Troy's take on the missing persons and these people that disappear without a trace. Nothing has been found of them years since. Do you have a theory on that, Troy?
I can't say so much, Wayne, that I've got a theory on it. I mean, I've told you before, I spent 8 years as a scout leader, pretty much camping at least once a month. I've been out in the woods countless times. Uh, my brother Eli, who just joined tonight, he and I have spent a lot of time off road. I can't tell you. I mean, I see people do stupid things. They don't act smart always when they're in the wilderness.
Yeah.
We've all seen the videos of people going up to buffalo and stuff and thinking they're big pets. And, you know, people aren't always the smartest. But no, I can't say I've got necessarily a theory. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I didn't mean to put you on the spot like that.
No, you're good.
I just don't know. I don't know what to make of it other than portals. I mean, I can't think of anything else unless you want to throw in some weird shit. Aliens, like they were abducted in broad daylight by a UFO. I can't get there. I mean, is one crazier or more crazy than the other? I don't know. But something's happening. Something's happening to these people in the woods that just disappear off the face of the planet. Who is the elderly gentleman that we just did? The real famous one that was on the missing 411, Tom
Messick Sr.
Yeah. That dude, he was an elderly gentleman, sure, but he knew his shit. He knew what he was doing. He was military. He was a trained survival guy. His wife talked about if he went missing, he would have torn off pieces of his clothing and tied them up so that people can find him.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Mark your trail.
Yeah, nothing was found from this man. Nothing. And he wasn't alone. He was with like 6 other guys.
Well, Alvy Webb, the one that is he's the same way. And him and Tom Messick are around the same age.
Yeah.
Tom Messick was 82, and I think Alvy was like mid-80s. But same history. If he gets lost, he's going to know. And they both had communication devices on them.
That's it. They had radios. Tom Messick could have pushed his little button at any time and called for help. Nothing. These people just disappeared. His gun, no shots were fired.
That's what gets me right there. Most hunters, you're going to hear shots fired.
Yeah.
Like me, if something's coming after me, you're going to hear multiple shots fired. But unless it's
Something else, Kevin. I say Kevin because Kevin has been up to Pigeon Mountain, where we have been a couple of times. The only place where I believe I actually had a Bigfoot sighting. That's the only place that I have heard that metallic sound. That sound like I've always described it as, and Walls was on here a little while. Walls is still here. He can talk about it. He was with me both times when I heard this metallic sound. He heard them as well. I always said it sounded like an old rusty swing set, like someone pushing someone on a swing set. But in the Tom Messick case, they reported hearing what sounded like a metal trapdoor slamming. How do you explain that? Did the earth open up and suck this man in and slam the door behind him? I don't know. What is to the metal sounds?
Makes no sense.
Wayne, was Tom Messick, was that the gentleman that was hunting in the area, I want to say northern area of the U.S., with his son and several other people, and he went to a rock and he literally, like you said, he basically just disappeared. Nobody knows where he went to this day.
Yeah, they all sat down 100 yards apart. And that was their goal. They sat down. They went out into about 40 yards in, 100 yards apart, and sat down. And they had another group that went around and was going to flush the deer to them. That's what they always did. That was their strategy. And he went out. He was on the end. He sat down. Other people went out, tried to flush deer to him, wasn't successful. They all decided to meet back up, and Tom Messick was gone.
Yep. I've heard that one. I've heard, that one I have absolutely no explanation. Somebody, if I'm not mistaken, he was former military. He had been a hunter for several years. There's no reason whatsoever that a hunter with a gun, I mean, most hunters, when they're hunting, have a gun right in their lap.
Yeah.
Or at least right beside them. Most of them, I would say, in their lap. I mean, I know if they're like me, deer hear you. That's what most people are in the woods for. So you want it right there where you can move quick and easy. You don't have to get it off a tree and everything. So, unless he moved to a different area and, like you said, walked through a portal, I can't understand how he disappeared. Feral people does come to mind, but I don't know if that is something that is in that area.
Yeah.
Then again, you've always got, now why they would take an older gentleman, I don't know. You've always got Sasquatch. I mean, did a Bigfoot grab him? Think, hey, this guy's my grandmother's age, and maybe they'll get along good. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember right, what is this? Messick was the oldest, so they posted him close to vehicles. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I don't know about the whole Bigfoot thing because unless these things, and we've all heard that they are just incredibly stealthy, I don't feel like one could have gotten the drop on him without him being able to radio for help or get a shot off.
Well, see, in the case of Alvy Webb, he was adorned in like the brightest fluorescent orange. China could have freaking saw this man. Okay. And I don't understand. And I said it when I recorded it. I don't understand. I get that there's massive amounts of wilderness. I do. I get it. And it's just one person. But where they sat him, there's no way he could have just up and left or, been snatched or, it makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Kevin.
I saw Miss Tiffany has just said that would they be able to eat them whole in no case whatsoever, which is funny because I was just thinking about how we talk about, everybody was like, well, how come you haven't found any Bigfoot bones or remains or anything like that? Well, it's kind of funny when these people just up and disappear and we don't find anything.
Yeah.
Clothes, firearm, communication device, it all goes. Now, being an ex-cop, and some of those, I think it could be people who are just disappearing. They don't want to be seen. They don't want to be found. You know what I mean? Like maybe they're disgruntled husband or wife or whatever, and this is their way to get out of everything.
They're choosing that.
Not all of them.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I can't see a case like Tom Messick. I mean, this man was at the end of his life. He was married for years. he was content. I mean, I don't
Or like
think
that little kid you've been so intrigued with over the last few years.
Dennis Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the same way. That case. I mean, I'll go ahead and say that case I've lost sleep over that case. Just being a father of young children and just how quickly one can get gone. I mean,
Well,
guys,
it's a huge
what?
thing with the Native Americans.
Do what?
It's a huge thing with the Native Americans about, the hairy man or the tall man or the woodsman or whatever.
Yeah.
It's taking the children.
Yeah, we've all heard about that. I mean,
there's so many. There's so many.
why doesn't Michael Heron, the awesome Bristol, thank you.
Mhm.
Michael Heron was the guy in our neck of the woods, guys. Kevin and Troy up in the Gatlinburg Smoky Mountain area was on his 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
And there has been no sign of this man.
They-
This is more recent.
They found the 4-wheeler in gear, out of gas, and no sign whatsoever of him.
And
Was
he should
that
have gone that way.
I believe that's what I heard, Wayne, it was in gear but out of gas, and there was no sign of him whatsoever. It was, I think it was a trail that he and the people that traveled in that area, his family or whatever, had taken several times, apparently. He felt comfortable in the area, but yeah, apparently something happened. He's just gone.
Remember the one that you didn't go with me, Wayne? The one I went down to in the Mobile area. I'll say where it was now. It's been 2 or 3 years, but that was a Navajo family. But if you recall, and I was reading something Maynard just put up, and oh heck, I lost my train of thought. Oh, their 16-year-old son. That was what made the call to actually BFRO, and that's how I ended up down there. They needed somebody, and I volunteered. But the boy was on a 4-wheeler, and he was trying to get away from it, and it was catching him, and he got back, and he couldn't talk, and they called the EMS, and they got there, and then the sheriff's office showed up, and he finally got to talking. He had wet his pants, everything. He was just terrified. He was 16 years old when they told him he'd been chased by Sasquatch. They're all like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And it was one of the wildlife officers who was there who told us that you need to call BFRO, and because she took it seriously, which tells me she's heard something before.
Yeah, you've told me that story, but I had forgotten about it. I mean, how do you explain that? 16-year-old kid that is well old enough to be able to control their bladder.
Absolutely.
Something scared the shit out of it, or the piss.
Yeah. So, but yeah. I want to think if I ever go face to face with a Squatch, I'm going to man up and be all right. But, talking about being a cop, the first time I met a really big man who asked me what the hell I wanted, and he's 6'8" and 400 pounds of man, looked down at me, my voice squeaked. Instead of saying, "You're going to do what I say," I was like, "You want the pig, man?" I mean,
and that's understandable.
It's me death.
Nobody can fault you for that.
I can't imagine what's going to happen if I ever see a squat. When I see a squat.
Kevin, you bring up an awesome point. I've thought that so many times. I mean, I've dedicated my life to finding these creatures and to talking to people that have seen these creatures. And I put all of that aside, and I think, honestly, Wayne, be honest to yourself. If you're on a hike by yourself in the middle of the woods here in Southeast Tennessee, no one is around you, you're walking, and then this 9-foot tall, 1,000-pound, hair-covered beast steps out in front of you on the trail 20 yards away, what would you do? I mean, I challenge everyone to put everything else aside, all the jokes, and just think. Put yourself in that position. What would you do? You're 20 foot away from this giant that I just described. How would you react?
Exactly.
I probably need it depends.
Exactly. I've heard people, a very close friend of mine had an experience recently, and I can't talk about that yet, but they talked about it being the most profound experience of their life, and they actually cried. They got emotional after it happened. And I know this person. I trust them.
Sorry.
They were so moved by actually finally seeing that this thing is real that it moved them to tears. Is that what's going to happen to me? Am I going to break down and cry? Am I going to turn around and run scared? Am I going to pull the gun that I know will be on my hip because I don't go out without one? Am I going to pull it and start squeezing off rounds? I hope not.
Well,
But
Well, the fact of the matter is nobody knows how they're going to react until it happens.
That's true.
yeah.
I mean, and I don't know, but I mean, I saw the eye sign behind my house, and I live in a subdivision. I was telling Lori about it over the weekend. What's her name? Wade.
Yeah,
And
Lower White Copeland.
saying there's no way there was a Sasquatch in my neighborhood, 20 miles from Nashville. I said, why not? But there was a tree line behind my house with a creek, and they were just red eyes looking at me. And I did go toward it. I wanted to see if I could figure out what it was, and it had moved by the time I got there. It was a little bit further down. My dog would not leave my side. She normally runs the yard, and she sees something, she'll bark and growl at it and all this stuff like she's going to do something, even though we all know she won't. But when I got near that second set of trees, there was a grunt at me, and I've heard bears, and it's not supposed to be bears in Nashville. Remember, I'm from Eastern North Carolina, so I grew up deer hunting. I've heard buck snort, and it was neither one of those things. It was a deep guttural.
Well, see,
And
that's
I was
like what happened to Zach here.
yeah, and they really, yeah. So I turned around, immediately hit my flashlight over there trying to see but it was, it was grown out, so I couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
But where the eyes had looked at me, or where I'd seen them, it would have been in that creek. It was a dry creek until it rained. They would have been 7 to 8 feet in the air from the ground. So I mean, I can't say that's what it was, but
Yeah. I
but
mean,
I'm brave when I have my firearm with me. Not so much when I don't.
yeah, my buddy here at Walls, you guys know Walls. He's the VP of my group, Animal Research. He has been with me since the very beginning, the founding of the organization. Yeah, he talked about it really depends on the person. Take my story. I had so many emotions going through my head. If you're familiar with this channel, you've heard Walls tell his story. Something sat on the edge of his tent with his two sons. He shared the story at the Squatch Out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It always fascinated me because I believe him with all my heart because I was with him. We were riding in my truck on our first ever investigation as a manimal group. We were almost there, and he sprung this on me. I'm like, dude, why have we not talked about this? Because something sat on the edge of his tent. I believe him with all my heart. And we talked about that. We asked John, being a licensed psychiatrist or psychologist, a PhD, because Walls ended up falling asleep with this thing sitting on the edge of his tent. One of his sons was already asleep. The other one was awake and experienced it with him and has pretty much blocked it. He won't accept that anything happened. But they both ended up falling asleep with this thing sitting. I mean, it was brushed up against Walls's arm while they were asleep, and he fell asleep. But you hear about people like that, people falling asleep or going through like a trance or something, and I don't understand that.
Or they don't want to get out of their sleeping bag when they hear something, and that's why they're here.
I've talked about that. I went on Doug Highcheck's show, and I asked him about that. when we go on these investigations, there's been more than a couple of times I have been woken up in the middle of the night with something outside the tent woke me up, and I cannot make myself get up. I'm there for one reason. That's to find out if Bigfoot is real. And I can't make myself get out of bed. I don't know. Kevin, any thoughts?
No, I'm going to suggest unless you're dreaming, because I know sometimes when I'm dreaming and I have a realistic dream, I can't get up.
Yeah.
But that doesn't sound like that. I've had another thought about that with this stuff I'm working on. I know we're not here to talk about that, so I'm not even going to go deep in it. But I got to thinking too, because I know sometimes Bigfoot has been referred to as the Watcher, particularly again in the Native American. And in ancient history, the Watchers were archangels and things like that. And could Bigfoot be I started to say descendant of that, who is actually here to watch over us? Because people talk about when they see dogmen, they feel evil, they feel fear, like genuine fear. Bigfoot brings a whole different load of emotion. So, could it be? Is that why we hear about Bigfoot and Dogman are enemies? People said they've seen or heard them fight or whatever. Is that a possibility that they're actually here to protect us?
Yeah.
And like fools, we go try and find them.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
here we are, 46, almost 47 minutes in.
And we ain't talked about the
We ain't talked about the Squatch out at all.
Y'all need to come next time. Next time we do one, we're talking about maybe doing 2 a year. It's awesome. It's a great time. We sit around, we talk about stuff like this. You sometimes have people who, like, I think she's left us, but the Cryptid Huntress, you'll have Lori Wade, you got Wayne. Definitely won't miss Tiffany, because I just saw him say something about seeing his in daylight, and I didn't know that. That's new to me. But I mean, we just sit around and we learn stuff from people, and it's really great. And Wayne actually had rocks thrown at him this time.
Oh my God! I knew we were going to talk about that. Let me get this up here. Tim Spoon, what's up, buddy? Tim was there.
Yes,
it was awesome hanging out with you in April. Thank you guys so very much for hanging out. But yeah, we had some rocks thrown at us, didn't we, Kev?
We did. They were real, but
what the hell?
I've got to say, I was in on that.
You were in, yeah, that's right. You were in on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll go ahead. Yeah, I hope you are, Chris. I'll go ahead and tell that story. It was Saturday. I was planning on going out doing a hike that night, but anybody that knows me, if I'm going to be up late, I got to get my nap in. So I went to get my hammock. I realized I didn't have my straps. So it was a whole big thing. John Baranchuk, Dr. John, ended up letting me borrow his hammock. And we took it down by the amphitheater because that was the best place for his hammock to string it up. And guys, I took probably the best nap. I know the best one I've had in years. Maybe the best one ever. Oh, God, the weather was perfect. It was shaded. This hammock was amazing. Anyway, I woke up and it was a couple hours in. I'm really like, oh man, I don't want to spend my whole time sleeping. And I wake up and I see Kevin coming at me. He had a bowl of something. What were you eating, Kevin?
I think I was eating Fritos. I'd already had my 77th bowl of chili.
Okay. So he comes down there, and I think he's coming down to mess with me, but he's not. He's just coming down to get away from people. And it's this big amphitheater that's outdoors, and he sits down, and I take that as my cue. Maybe it's time to get up. So I get up, me and Kevin, my good buddy, just the two of us. Everyone else is off doing their thing, and we're just talking, hanging out like we always do. I love hanging out with this dude. And we were just chilling, sitting beside this stage. I was beside the stage. He was up in one of the chairs. And this thing hits the stage. And when it does, I look and I see it come down and I see it hit. and bounce in front of me. Like, that's a rock. That was not an acorn. And I told Kevin, I said, that's a rock. That was a rock. He said, no, it wasn't. I said, yes, that was a rock. He jumps up out of his seat and he starts walking down. That, where is it? And I said, well, I don't know. It's gravel. It's one of these. And he's like, no, it wasn't. Yes, I'm telling you, I watched it come down. It was a rock. So several minutes goes by. We change the subject. We've moved on. Another one comes down and hits the stage. And Kevin saw that one, didn't you?
Yeah.
You saw that second one. You said, yeah, that was a rock. I told you. That was a freaking rock. Something is throwing rocks at us. And then just like 30 seconds later, another one comes down. And he's like, somebody's messing with us. Something is happening. So he walks around the stage and bends down and looks, and he sees this blue jean covered knee. It was freaking Matthew. Matthew snuck down in the woods. He saw us down there. He snuck down through the woods, got behind the stage, and carried some rocks from up above. Troy told him to.
Yep.
And he was throwing them. I don't know what he would have done if one of them would have plucked us in the head. He
Well,
wouldn't
it's
have
a good
cared.
thing. I guess it's a good thing I wasn't carrying, because if I was, just for fun, I might have popped off around just to make it, turn it back around on him.
He's got better aim than to hit you in the head, Wayne. He's been throwing rocks since he was a kid.
Yeah, but it scared. I mean, it didn't scare us, but it got us excited. We were like, damn, there's a Bigfoot around here watching us. I'm looking up in the trees, hoping to God to see something.
Now,
For those who don't know, that's Matthew Maynard. He is not invited to any more squats out.
no,
He's banned for life.
That's a joke, Matthew. You're welcome, buddy.
oh man, no, Wayne. I know you talked about it on that Bigfoot podcast. You hadn't mentioned tonight about my buddy Eli. I know you talked about it, like I said, on that Bigfoot podcast. He has got a nice Tacoma. He and I wheeled for years in Jeeps, and he's of age now where a Jeep is not comfortable, and the Tacoma is. So he's got it set up real nice and everything. But you didn't talk at all about what happened to him Saturday night, or was it Friday night? I think
Friday
it was.
night.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead?
Well, I'll tell what he told me, and Eli chat, or he was. So if there's any discrepancies, he can dispute them. I set my tent up right outside of Eli's truck, right beside his tent, pretty much. But you got to think his tent is 6 feet in the air, and he's looking over my tent. Mooch is in there with me, and we're both chilling. He's got his little cot with his own sleeping bag, and I'm on my cot with my sleeping bag. I'm snoring. I'm sleeping good. I ain't heard nothing. Well, apparently around 2 o'clock, Eli rolled over, and when he rolled over, looking the way his truck was parked, it overlooked the amphitheater. And for those of you who weren't there that don't know, the way the amphitheater is built is basically with like some railroad ties, and there's approximately 4 different levels. But the stage and the first level of seating they're roughly the same height. I'm not going to say they're perfectly level, but they're close. So, but anyways, then you've got 3 or 4 more levels above that. And what the place does is they provide Adirondack chairs, and you can sit the Adirondack chairs wherever you want on each level. They're nice and wide. They're about 10 foot wide. Back to the story. Eli saw something cross the road and walked down through the amphitheater into the woods. he said it had the shape of a person. But Wayne talked about it a little bit in that Bigfoot podcast. They asked everybody that was in our party, everybody that was there for the Squatch out, they asked, were you up by any chance at 2:00 in the morning and happened to walk down through the middle of the amphitheater? And nobody came forward and said, oh yeah, hey, that was me. I was up, whatever. Now, Wayne did say this. There were other groups in the same campground at us that were not there for the Squatch out, and they didn't necessarily talk to them. But this is the first organized thing that Eli has ever been to as far as Bigfoot goes. And for him to have a possible sighting at a place called Sasquatch Farms, what are the chances?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Nobody fessed up to walking through the area at 2 a.m. I trust my friend. I've known the man for 14 years now. He lives 5 houses down the road from me. I'm proud enough to call him my brother. And if he told me he saw Bigfoot standing between my tent and his, the only reason I wouldn't believe him would be because I didn't smell anything.
Yeah. I mean, that was very, very compelling. Eli is a down to earth dude. I mean, I got to meet him when you and I went to the LBL. Him and another one of your buddies came down and we rode around checking out all the hot spots of the LBL. He was a good dude then. He was an awesome dude at the Squatch out. He just joined our membership, so he's got to be a pretty good dude. Yeah, he saw something on 2 legs walking, like I said, from the woods across the gravel road and down this steep hill into the amphitheater. Now, you have to be familiar with Sasquatch Farms to realize this amphitheater is tucked down there away from everything. And we actually had an elderly gentleman, Mark, fall walking down there on some of the bigger rocks. And he was good. Thank heavens.
He ain't much older than me.
He's I mean, he's in not the greatest of shape. He has a little bit of trouble getting around, but he did fall, and we were able to help him get up. He wasn't hurt too bad, but that tells you the kind of terrain. It's not the easiest terrain to navigate, and
where
he
saw
saw
that walking from would have been where that the night I was there by myself would have been where that everybody's gonna think I'm nuts, but where the only thing that happened was the rock that hit my truck.
Yeah, Kevin, I'm so glad you just brought that up. Tell everybody.
That freaked me out.
You got to the Squatch out a night before
Thursday night.
Everyone else. Tell everybody what happened. You were sitting you were
Yeah,
laying there watching the
right
game
there.
on your phone.
Mhm. And I was sleeping in my truck. I got a mattress in there, and I was sleeping in there. And I'm watching the football game, the Ravens and whoever were playing. And you get tired when you're camping out because there's nothing to do. So it's about 9:00, and I'm ready to go to sleep. But all of a sudden, I just heard a rock hit the side of my truck, and I'm like, "What the heck?"
The side of your truck. So it was not an acorn.
No, there was no. I was under a pine tree. And it was not a very tall pine tree. It was just barely above my truck. So.
Mm-hmm.
And I got an F-250 with a tail on the back of it, and on big tar.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a redneck. So.
But yeah, you were sleeping in the bed under the camper.
Yeah.
And something hit the side of your truck. And also, you woke up to, what is it Eli saying? I thought it very odd for someone to be walking down the tree line into the woods at 2 a.m. In the morning, it was a fluid motion walk. There you go. But yeah, Kevin, you the second morning of the Squatch out, you woke up to an imprint on the side of your truck. And I am very, very happy to announce, I don't think he's in here watching, but David Zegan or Zygan, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but he is Bigfoot Forensics. He was just on Cliff and Bobo show. Awesome dude. He came to the Squatch out. Not only did he come, but he was so impressed that after it was all said and done, he contacted me and became a research member of Manimal Research Organization. He paid his yearly dues, so he's serious. So he is now a member. But what did he tell you? And David is a forensics guy.
Yeah.
He's a cop in Atlanta or above Atlanta, and he is a certified CSI technician.
Well, and then I used to do CSI stuff, but that's been 25 years ago. But to me, it looked like the outside of a palm print, like right here or right here, and it was huge. It would have been a big, 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 big man. He determined it looked more like a forearm. So,
Okay.
but I don't want to. I'm not going to call any names, but somebody there who's supposed to be experienced, and it wasn't Lori or Jessica, it was somebody else. When I was showing it to him, he comes through and takes the stinger and runs it through it. It's like, dude, you don't do that with possible evidence, even if it turned out to be nothing. You don't touch anything. What?
He would not be a good.
I just wanted to smack like I would my child. What are you thinking?
Don't touch it.
That's messed up.
That is messed up.
Bristol, he is an awesome dude. He and I had a lot. We went out together on Saturday afternoon for about an hour in the woods. And
Kevin,
he really is.
or David?
David, yeah. And we're looking for. Yes, it left a greasy film, Wendy. I was looking. I'm looking forward to doing some more things with him.
I am
He
too.
and I think a lot alike. We see everything. The first thing we see.
Well, you are cops.
Not real. It's been fake. But then we look for reasons why it's not fake.
Yeah. I'm so excited about having David join our team, and for him to come to the Squatch out and be impressed enough and like what he saw to pay the yearly dues to become a member of Manimal Research is awesome, and I look forward to the future with him. It's awesome. We also had Dan that was there. Dan is a brand new member, paid his dues up, and can't wait to have him. Troy is a new member of Manimal Research. Anyone out there that is interested in joining our research organization, Kevin and I are going to be working, and Walls, we're going to be working closely together to build this thing into something. The last couple of years, I've got a toddler. She's taken up a lot of my time. We haven't been able to do a whole lot, but we've got investigations. We've got areas that we're going to go check out. We have projects that are coming up, and it's exciting. Things, Manimal Research's future is exciting, and I can't wait. So contact me if you're interested in getting out and doing some investigations.
I don't know everybody in the group because I'm not in here all the time because of work and family and all that. But
yeah,
and sometimes I just forget because I'm getting old. And I'm probably getting dementia. But what are we talking about, by the way? No, but if you've never been out with us or never been on one of these Squatch outs, I mean, it's worth it. I mean, if you hate it and never come back, that's cool. But I don't think you will. I mean, it's just getting to sit around and chat with good people. But somebody told me one time, they said, I know what you people do at these Bigfoot things. You just sit around and drink beer. And I'm like, well, I don't drink much beer anymore. I just don't. But I said, I ain't going to say we don't sit around and tell some tall tales. But a lot of it, and I'm kidding about that, most of it is we're sitting there and we're talking about experiences. We're listening to people's experiences. We're trying to tie it in with stuff we know might be true. It's just awesome.
It
You know.
family, Kevin. To tie
It
in,
is family.
it builds family, which is something that I've missed. Um, Wayne, you and Tiffany joked and talked about the chili. It was
The best chili I ever had.
it was 80 quarts, which is 20 gallons. I know you told me there were 45 people coming, but to be honest with you, I've never made chili for 45 people.
No.
I'm
What?
sure that I had enough chili that if everybody came back for 10 bowls, there was plenty of chili. That's why.
Well, I'll tell y'all now. On the way up to the Squatch Out, I stopped and I bought 20 pounds of hamburger meat.
Yep,
$97 worth
yep,
of hamburger meat. It went into this chili.
yep. And you don't know how thankful I am for that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, you talked. I mean, you spoke a little bit. I spent $250 on the additives to it, all the tomato sauce and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not pulling my own chain because I enjoy doing it. I think after Gatlinburg and this last trip, y'all realize that feeding people is a passion of mine.
Yeah.
Uh, it's something I got from my wife, something I no longer get to share with her. But when I do get to do it, it reminds me of the good times I had with her.
That's awesome.
Uh,
Well, our passion is eating the amazing food that you fix. So
Well, boy, don't make us get all wet-eyed. We're all supposed to be tough dudes. You know, take that.
it's team. We make a good team. And Kevin, if you're crying, it's only because you got a heart.
But again, guys, y'all on that Bigfoot podcast, y'all heard Brian talk about the barbecue that this dude produced up in Gatlinburg. And Kevin was supposed to be there, but work got in the way, so he wasn't able to be there. So you can't speak to it. But the best barbecue I've ever had and the best chili I've ever had. And I can honestly say that. So many people in the comments, so many people that were there said it was the best chili they ever had. This
Oh,
dude is talented. He knows what he's doing. Not just that, but he taught me the omelet in the bag trick. And he and I made one for breakfast Saturday morning. It was phenomenal. You make an omelet out of a damn Ziploc bag. Who would have thought of that?
and then biscuits and gravy, man. Them biscuits and gravy, they just sang.
Don't get me started on
They just
the
sang.
B on the B and
when you
G.
see a when you see a man that cooks that sweats as much as he did, that's a good cook.
That's right.
Fat boys
Right.
like to eat, man. What can I say?
That's
That's
right,
right.
baby.
If
All right.
cook
As
ain't fat
Kevin
food,
said earlier, more than a few people have asked us to do 2 of these a year. So, and I'll admit, I hate waiting a year on the next Squatch Out. So we might try to do 2 a year. That's something that us Manimal members we're going to get together and talk about. Maybe there's another Squatch Out coming up in a few months. I don't
Well,
know.
I did see suggestions in the box. You know that obviously Sasquatch Farms again, LBL, Pigeon Mountain, and I threw in there our special little place where we see orbs and hear howls. I don't want to name it because I don't want to give it
Mhm.
away unless we decide to do it.
Yeah.
But that would be a place that's tight, but it might freak some people out. That's the one when we woke up the next morning and found mountain lion footprints
There you go. It'd be hard to
for our
squeeze people
campsite.
in there.
Yeah, it would, but we could do
But,
it.
but that's a
We
cool
make it work.
place. If we do like a small one,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I think we should look at moving them around to different locations. And
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea.
yeah, and I know Troy had mentioned it. Wasn't you, Troy? If there was somebody who had some farmland that would or own some property, would let us use it.
Um
if somebody has
Bob
land,
Bobby Sledge.
Bobby Sledge. Okay, yeah, Bobby. Yeah,
Bobby
sorry.
Sledge. Yeah, Chris wants to come to the next one.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, we are an hour and 10 minutes in. I think all we really took away was the Sasquatch was a huge success. The Squatch Out was a huge success. The best one so far. It was amazing. More and more people are coming. It really amazes me how far people will travel in this community. It does nothing but speak to just the kind of people that are in this community. We had a gentleman that drove up that lives below Miami. He drove up for this. There were 2 different people that drove up from Florida. A couple people came from Ohio, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
North and South Carolina. I know that there are states that I'm forgetting, but people came from all over, and it's all because of this big, goofy, hairy creature that we can't catch up with. You know?
Agreed.
So,
And I think Glenn, we talked about part of our goal, and sharing. We mentioned it at the Squatch Out, sharing with Troy and Walls and some of the other guys now, Timothy and all those, and anybody who's become a member, is that honestly our goal, because I'm very ambitious, is to be the people who people call when they have a sighting. No
yeah,
offense to anybody who's in BFRO, because they're great people. I've done a couple of things for them, but I don't want them to call BFRO. I want them to call Animal Research, Southeast Squatch Investigation.
that's right.
And the more people that we have in the group and are involved, the more it gets out and the more opportunity we have to do that. Because it's just a good time.
Yep.
If we don't find anything, we have fun.
Exactly.
But you'll see or hear something. That's why, and I know we're over, but for those who, and you probably experienced this too with your husband or wife. I always tell my wife the reason she won't go out with me is because she knows, because she's an ex-cop as well. I said, you'll see or hear something you can't explain.
There you go.
And
Yeah, you just said it perfectly, Kevin. I can't think of a better closing. You guys, both of you are awesome. We love you. We thank you for taking the time to come and hang out with us. And yeah, guys, y'all stay tuned. There are more awesome things to come from Animal Research, Paranormal Odyssey, Paranormal World Productions. We are just getting started. Kevin, Troy, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
And there were people in this show tonight who were commenting that were there, who you got a whole host of shows lined up for a while if you need a fill-in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they can talk about what they experienced while they were there, what they saw, and what they felt.
Absolutely.
Other than Maynard. Maynard's not allowed because he throws rocks at people. But
what, Troy?
I said all I did was cook for y'all. Make sure your belly was fed.
You did a good job, too,
You
brother.
did. You did more than you should have, buddy. Don't sell yourself short.
Just your presence is good.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna let y'all go.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys, enjoy your evening. How awesome are those 2 guys? 2 of my favorite people breathing right now.
Yeah. That's gonna make me sad. I'm not your favorite person. Do you want me to stop breathing?
two of my favorite people, not my 2 favorite people.
I gotta give you shit.
You can keep breathing.
I'm good. My family appreciate that.
You're one of my favorite people breathing too, Tiffany.
Okay, thanks. I just gotta check.
All right, guys, everybody, thank you so much. I'm gonna throw this up one more time. Contact me if y'all want a shirt. We're doing pre-orders. I've got a huge order coming from Miss Lori Wade that I will be taking on some of the events that I have coming up. So if you would like a t-shirt, I would love to get you one. If you are a PO freak, you get 10% off. If you are not, they are $20, $5 shipping.
There you go.
As I said, I am speaking at a conference at the end of this month. The 28th, I will be speaking at the 3rd Annual Ozark Mountain Bigfoot Conference, along with my good buddy Brian King Sharp, Shane Carpenter, Robert Kreider, Jason Kinsey, who we have had on, cool dude, and Richard Taylor, who I've had on a couple of times, another really cool guy. But yeah, if y'all are in the area, please make sure that you stop by. And they are still doing tickets for the camp out because we will be camping out afterward. So yeah, if y'all are interested in that, contact me and I will get you in contact with Mary Ann.
There you go.
All right, you got anything else before we get out of here, madam?
Yes, come see me and Zach on Tuesday because we're going to share all of the creepy. I thought I had all of them uploaded onto YouTube, but I looked at my YouTube and I'm actually missing a video or two, so I got to fix that over the weekend. But it's been some pretty crazy stuff happening. So come back and see us and you can hear all about it.
Yep, that will be Tuesday at 8 o'clock. And again, guys, a reminder, I will be on with Miss Jessica Jones tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. As soon as she gets me the link, I will share it. Hope you guys will come and hang out. All right, guys, until let me just throw this up here real quick. Bam!
I was so serious.
Look at Kevin laughing. I love it. There you go, Walls.
There you go, Walls. You were on the show too, buddy.
All right. Until we talk to y'all again, y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Bye.